How do I get the light to work? I think that's it. I got it to work. I'm an adult. Yay. Hey guys, Nika here. Hope you're having a wonderful hump day. Time is just flying by. And you guys know I work 2 jobs, and on top of that, I like run home and film in between. So it makes the time go even faster, which is fine with me. I don't mind. But I'm gonna remove this. I burned myself making these apple tartlet things, which were delicious, by the way. You know, I'm showing you why I'm showing you. I'm willing to show you the evidence. I'm willing to talk about what happened to me. Unlike Bethany Funk. I don't know if it's that people don't want to talk about Bethany, or it's the fact that there's not much to talk about Bethany. Because it seems that, yes, all the spotlight is, of course, on Brian, right? The guilty man. Innocent until proven guilty. And Dylan. But it's like we forgot that Bethany exists. I'm here to talk about Bethany. Let's talk about Bethany. I recall reading a comment made by Aaron Snell. I believe Aaron, but it was Snell for sure, Snell, the Idaho State policeman, who made a statement saying that currently they are working on the timeline because it's not making much sense at the moment. And he was talking about the timeline regarding Bethany and Dylan. Wow. Suspicious much. Why isn't the timeline making sense? I don't know the timeline as far as Bethany goes because all that has currently been redacted off the affidavit. But considering he made that statement, it's something I'm going to keep up here. Why are they not matching their timelines? I wonder what else isn't matching. Maybe their stories are not lining up either. Is that why Bethany doesn't want to testify? Bethany, why don't you want to go testify? I understand if she potentially saw something traumatic, you probably wouldn't want to go back to that. But in my opinion, I mean, this girl is engaged. She's obviously moved on. She's not stuck in limbo. Now, that doesn't mean that PTSD goes away if she's going to claim PTSD. But Bethany, if you are as close as you say you were to those victims, wouldn't you want the truth to come out for the families? Even if it made you uncomfortable to face the unaliver? I would. I would be willing to sacrifice my comfort during the trial to have justice for these family members. Over a year and they still have no answers. I'm upset we still don't have answers. I can't imagine being a parent of one of these victims, or a brother or a sister. That would be horrifying. No answers. Bethany. To me, that just shows her character, her true character. And I understand I am not in her shoes, but I have been in very difficult situations myself. And yes, I understand we are all different. We are all raised with different ethics and different moral codes. And I'm not saying I'm better than her, but difficult times tend to show people's true character. The fact that she had to be subpoenaed by the defense team says a lot. And now she has to be there. Because if she doesn't show, there will be consequences, legal consequences. But I also have this crazy theory. Of course, these are all theories, personal opinions, should be used for entertainment purposes only. Again, I only have the information accessible to all of us through the internet. A lot of what was in that affidavit has been redacted. There's minimal information on Bethany. Why is there minimal information on Bethany? Is it because the timelines don't make sense? Per Snell, Officer Snell? Is that why? Did Moscow LE decide to just remove a huge part of the affidavit or redact it because it doesn't match our story? So let's just pretend it's not there for now. I don't know. Allegedly, Bethany said that she had seen a naked man leaving through a sliding door. Okay, but wait a minute. Bethany, your bedroom is in the lower level, first floor. You can't see the sliding door through that floor. WTF are you talking about? So does that mean that Bethany's lying? Or does it mean that maybe she didn't tell the whole truth? Did she potentially make that up? Or does she potentially go upstairs to the second floor? Because again, in my opinion, they are both problematic scenarios. Because if you were downstairs on the lower level, there's no way that you could have seen that. And if you were upstairs and you saw that, then you were upstairs and probably saw victims. And you still didn't call LE for 8 hours. So in my opinion, things are not looking good for Bethany or Dylan. And it's time that Bethany and Dylan, you girls have to get your stories straight. You have to. The trial is right around the corner, and I hope that the trial is not as redacted as the affidavit. Because we know it's not going to be shown live. Yes, we're going to be able to see it on YouTube, but it's not going to be live. So what are they going to redact? How are they going to redact it? And a theory that I wanted to share with you guys, and maybe it's extremely crazy, maybe it's completely far-fetched, but the defense team said Bethany has evidence, exculpatory evidence. What could that be? Is it possible that maybe she had something going on with Brian? I don't think that's that far-fetched. Is it possible that the naked man that Bethany saw was Brian? Maybe they were fooling around. Because if I was Brian and I'm 28 hanging out with a very young female, but I'm a PhD student, I probably wouldn't want to be seen by the roommates. I would either meet her outside, which would explain the vehicle, if that was even his vehicle, or be sneaky about doing physical things, having a physical relationship with Bethany. Is it possible that maybe the naked man she saw was him leaving through her window because he heard noises, or he heard maybe roommates come in and he freaked out and he ran out the window? I don't know. I don't think it's that far-fetched. I think it's something that maybe could be true. And maybe that's why Brian and the team want her to be there, to say, hey, fine, it's true, I was there with him, we were doing things, and the timeline doesn't match. Could be something to consider. So, the trial is going to be a very interesting one, in my opinion. What do you guys think? There's just so much information being withheld that I'm going to be very curious and very careful about the trial itself. You always want to keep in mind, how are they portraying people? Is it going to be like full Judge Judy over here? Because if it is, and Judge is going to decide what to show us, I'm going to be extremely cautious. Because again, yes, I'm hoping he is fair, but statistically speaking, most judges tend to side with the state. I do hope that he looks at the evidence. I know that he's reviewing it at this very moment. But we also have to ask, well, is he going to review with somebody who actually knows about forensics and DNA? And is it an unbiased party? Or is it going to be somebody rooting for the state? Because again, we have seen this in cases in the past. Guess who is hired to review this very important information? Oh, somebody who worked for the state. How convenient. I know that if I was Brian, I would definitely take all those things into account. Who is judging me? Where are they coming from? Who looked at the information? Yesterday, I mentioned the Innocence Project, which focuses on freeing people who were imprisoned when they did not commit a crime. It happens. When I talk about Brian and the pings and the DNA and the potential of all that being potentially planted or misread or misused, people say, well, if that's the case, then he's a very unlucky person. How very unlucky for him to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But when you look at the data and you realize how many people have been at the wrong place at the wrong time, it's shocking. Even more shocking how many decades some people have spent within these prison systems, being completely innocent. And then 30 years later, somebody says, oh, you know what? We actually found the guy that has been in jail for 30 years. Oh, he was at a baseball game. And we found him in a tiny, teeny camera. We can see him getting up with his daughter. Let's zoom in. Whoops. We effed up, guys. Another one. It happens way too often, in my opinion. Way too often. Don't underestimate being at the wrong place at the wrong time, because it could happen to any of us. When I talk about this case, people always say, well, if you keep your record clean, if you weren't suspicious, this wouldn't be a problem. What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with anything you just said. A citizen who has never committed a crime can get caught up in these situations. They have been caught up in these situations. I, for one, have a clean record. Perfect. And even I often think about, what if I didn't have my phone with me? What if I didn't have multiple GPS trackers? If something horrible happened here, it's Chicago after all. Is it possible that I could get blamed for something that somebody else did despite my clean record? Of course, because all it takes is one negative aspect of your personality getting thrown into the wolves, thrown into the media, and then from there it takes its own life. And now you're painted potentially as a sociopathic, psychopathic, evil, ruthless, unaliver, maybe. Again, I'm not trying to pick on Bethany, Dylan, or anyone. These videos are pure speculation for entertainment. But Bethany knows a lot of information, I think. So I am so happy that they subpoenaed her. Because we obviously know that she wouldn't have shown up herself. She didn't want to go. She doesn't care about the victims or the victims' families or their chance at justice. Even with her knowing the information, she didn't want to go. She just wants to be engaged, get married, have a regular life. I understand. But at the end of the day, you have important information. So I'm hoping that she shows when it's time to show up. Because I could also see this going another way. I could see Bethany saying, I'm just not going to show. What's the worst they can do? They're going to find me or arrest me for a short time frame. And considering how all the frat members have been treated so far, I could see her getting away with something like that. Like a bad girl, bad Bethany. And again, my channel is to hold these people accountable, to hold everybody accountable, to question everything. because we want the right people to be free, and we want the bad people locked up so the rest of us can live our lives peacefully. And so our children and our pets. I still think about Murphy, like, I wish he could talk. So that's it for today. Have to change out. By the way, I feel like I'm slightly lying to you guys. I'm not lying, but I feel like I am, because I don't want you guys to see me in my uniform every day. Like, who wants to? So I literally run home, put a shirt on, like whatever I can find in my closet, and then film, put my other work clothes on, whatever I'm changing out of, and then like run. So I'm gonna be 110% transparent, because who cares? So this is my shirt, and look, literally scrubs. It just makes it easier, because honestly, if I do the whole outfit thing like I did yesterday with the pleather pants, it's way too time consuming. I was almost late to my second job. So you guys take care. Have a wonderful day. Let me know what you think of the Bethany and Brian lover theory. Am I insane? I don't know. He's not a horrible looking guy, and she's a college girl. I mean, girls, we do crazy things. So I'm gonna get going now. You guys have a good night. And oh yeah, your kiss. Bye now.